Hello, and thank you for exploring Dangerous Harvest with us. Today, we will be talking about John Punch, the first African man in Virginia to be sentenced to slavery for life in the 13 colonies. Europeans practiced slavery before colonization in North America, and slavery was part of European colonization in North America and the Caribbean since its earliest years. In 17th century Virginia, punishments meted out to free people of African descent and enslaved Africans were frequently based on skin color. This was not always the case. In fact, John Punch's case in 1640 may be the first time slavery was used as a race-based punishment. See, nearly 150 years after colonization in America started, John Punch's case marked the beginning of race-based court precedent in Virginia.
John Punch, along with James Gregory and Victor, two white men who were also indentured servants to a Virginia planter named Hugh Gwynn, ran away from Gwynn's plantation on the Middle Peninsula in hopes of escaping their contracts. The three men fled to Maryland, but unfortunately were found within a few days and returned to the General Court in Jamestown for trials.
Although the three men escaped and fled in the same way, the punishments given to John Punch were different from the punishments of James and Victor. All three men were sentenced to whippings, but John Punch's punishment was extremely harsh compared to James and Victor's. James and Victor, two white men, had 4 years each added to their terms of indenture. John Punch, a black man, was sentenced to lifelong servitude.
Laws eventually made in the coming years seemed to have a purpose of keeping Africans in bondage. In 1662, Virginia law ensured that partus sequitur ventrum, or offspring follows belly, meaning the status of a child's freedom would be determined by the enslavement of their mother.
In conclusion, the case of John Punch represents a pivotal moment in the early history of American slavery. His sentencing to servitude in 1640 marked a turning point when race-based punishments began to emerge in the American colonies. Even though indentured servants like James and Victor faced consequences for their escape, their sentences were less severe than John Punch's, showing the deepening racial disparities in how individuals were treated.
Understanding this history is very important for acknowledging the legacy of racial injustice in the U.S. and the long struggle for equality and freedom that followed. John Punch's story is a clear reminder of the impact of slavery and the desperate need for reflection in society today, and most importantly, the progress towards a more just future.